I did not have really any financial support or backing when I started my company. So there was nothing to lean back on other than myself. Like I had to make it go right, and failure was not an option.
Hi, my name is Courtney, and welcome to How They Scaled It, where scaling is done with both sides of the brain. Today, I'm excited to welcome Cheree Ashley, founder and CEO of Osier. Cheree's journey has been inspiring. She first built a career in the recovery and mental health space, opening her own treatment facilities at just 24 years old. Along the way, she witnessed firsthand the tolls of toxins and other unhealthy substances take on people's health and appearance, sparking the idea for the skincare line that emphasizes clean formulas and fresh starts. With Osier, Cheree is combining her passion for wellness and her love of skincare into a brand built for all skin types, with products designed for sensitive skin and everyday self-care. Cheree, it is such an honor to have you here today. Welcome to How They Scaled It.
Thank you, Courtney. Such an honor to be here and speaking with you today. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Well, I want to start out with just like the fact that you started your first business at just 24 and you were also a new mom at that time. So like how did you be so motivated to take that leap into entrepreneurship so early?
Just a lot of passion and motivation and eager to make it happen. I did not have really any financial support or backing when I started my company. So there was nothing to lean back on other than myself. Like I had to make it go right,
Mhm.
and failure was not an option. And there even now, like starting Osier, but just looking back with starting the company, it's like there's so many things that you learn along the way. And in those moments, sometimes you just feel like you're not going to succeed. How am I going to do this? Maybe this isn't for me. But when you look back, those are the biggest blessings. Honestly, the hardest times of starting a company are the things that I reflect on most and I'm so thankful for, because that is what's built change and growth and learning experiences. And so just looking at it now, anytime those things, cross my plate at the moment, I think about that. Like, okay, there were times I just didn't even think I would be able to make it when I was young and doing this, and I did, and here I am. So it helps keep me motivated and get through the hard times now too.
Yeah, it sounds like hustle culture is kind of like ingrained into you. Because I think that I mean, at 24, you could have chosen to like, oh, just go get a job or something, but you were already thinking a lot bigger than that. Um, and it just sounds like you just haven't stopped since then.
Right. Well, and that's what I tell people too. It's originally I started something with passion, but looking back now, I mean, it's been almost 11 years, and I did not think that my company was succeeding because I had an entrepreneur mindset. I simply thought it was succeeding because I got lucky. Like there were those moments where I'm like, wow, I got really lucky, and people, how did you do it? I'm just like, well, I really like to help people through my own recovery journey. And it inspired me to start my own program. But now, as time has gone on, I realize that it's just one of those things that it's nonstop. Now I have three kids and I function better under stress and chaos. Like that is my bread
Yeah.
and butter there is just being able to constantly doing it. If I'm not doing, it's almost like not good for my mental health. It's interesting to say it and put it in
Yeah.
that perspective, but I really enjoy being busy.
Yeah, that's really interesting that that's kind of like I've never heard that take of being like I I've heard people say I thrive in stressful situations, but it's almost like you're saying I suffer when there's no stress at all. Like I need to find something. It's good stress, it's not like all
It is
bad.
good stress. I rather stress because things are, I'm achieving goals,
Yeah,
and then stress because I'm not doing anything.
right, right.
That's something that I look at. I'm like, I much rather be in that type of stress.
Yeah. Well, and so you started with treatment centers and then you kind of moved into skincare. How like has that transition been for you? Or like how did you like have you learned taken stuff that you've learned from one and applied it to the other?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that because I started the facility so young with really not a lot of mentors, or experience owning a treatment facility. It was a lot of trial and error. I have been able to shift that into the skincare to know, like, okay, what didn't I seek help for
Right.
in the treatment programs that I want to seek help with in the skincare and the beauty industry.
Mhm.
And so those are some things, that I've definitely learned from. And also patience, that feeling of failure that I had 11 years ago starting the programs. I don't feel that pressure as much now because I know you have to trust the process and it's going to take time. And so, my younger self reminds me of that. Like, you've done this before. You felt like you were going to fail before. And of course, there's still a lot of learning curves now that I'm like, oh, shoot, well, we won't do that again. Of course, any industry that you shift in, it's going to have those trials and errors, but I again try to use those as lessons to make positive change and growth.
Yeah, yeah. I've always the thing that I always like fall back on when I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna work, or like I'm like kind of in a dip, is like the only way you can really fail is by stopping. If you stop, then you're guaranteed to fail. But if you just keep pushing forward and like really have perspective on like where you came from and what you've done, that's usually enough of a push to kind of get you over that hump. Um,
Right.
And like for you, I mean, just like going from such different, it's like treatment centers to skincare, it feels like such a big leap. But ultimately, like the business concepts and just like the entrepreneurial like mindset applies to both in very similar ways, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I really feel, for anybody who's like starting a company or new in something, is it really takes consistency and patience, right? Just kind of like in the gym, and you hear it and all the time of like, well, you're not going to see results. You show up when you don't want to, and all of those things. And with business, it's the same thing. Like you cannot expect to be, put all this work in and it's going to be successful the
Mhm.
next day. I mean, the reality of that is it's not going to. It's going to take a lot of work and you have to be patient through that process.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like I would say 80% of the work that you're doing is going to be like really boring and unsexy. And then that's what gets you over the hump is like do like just that consistency and like just showing up every day.
Definitely, 100%. Yes.
So the name of the brand, Osier, is it means willow tree, which I love because that's representing new beginnings. Which I think is kind of like a fun take on skincare, is like fresh starts and new beginnings. So tell us the story behind like how you chose the name and how it connects to your mission.
Yeah, definitely. So it was really hard trying to figure out like which name do we go with, what's going to click. And it's one thing that has been challenging since we have picked Osair is the pronunciation of it. And we see like so many different ways. I'm like, we should make some sort of reel of everybody pronouncing it and putting it all together. Um, but I wanted to create something unique and I wanted something that was going to reflect on what I do through the treatment programs. And I wanted to mesh them together. And so Osair meaning willow tree and willow tree standing for new beginnings, I felt was perfect. And of course, there's the initial stages of trademarks and research and making sure you can use that name. So that was all factored in as well. And I wanted something that was simple and short, but luxurious. Our philosophy behind Osair is luxury but affordable skincare. And the reason we started with the two current products that we have, the vitamin C serum and the Brighter Days serum, or I'm sorry, the recovery ceramide cream, is because whether it's not just for recovery, right? So the whole reason that we started this is because I've seen the toll that substances have taken
Mhm.
on my clients' skin, on myself, and through recovery, self care is something that we lean heavily into. And whether that's meditation or working out, for me personally, it's skincare routine. It's something I truly, truly enjoy. And, that's the first thing in the insecurity that pops up when you go through the recovery journey is like, you feel dehydrated or puffy or whatever it is. And so I wanted to come out with a couple products that whether it's through that journey or you've never used skincare before and you're very new to it, something that you're going to see results and feel instantly like, oh my gosh, my face feels so soft. I feel like it looks brighter. That are really easy, simple products, whether it's first time ever trying products or adding it to your routine.
Yeah.
There are very effective products that you can even add in if you already have a simple routine. So it doesn't have to be a 10-step regimen. It can be the two-step regimen and you're going to see the results.
Yeah, I really love that. I love like the whole concept behind it. I think the name was like perfect for what you're trying to accomplish. And that I think with skincare, it's such a crowded space that you really do need like a story that breaks through that's like a fresh take on it, which I think kind of the recovery element, like your experience and like the reason that you have made it so simple is because of like this whole backstory. I think that's
Mhm.
just really powerful. Is that something that you've like been able to like work into your marketing and like tell that story a lot?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I was nervous, right? I tend to have, there's days of imposter syndrome and there's days where it's complete opposite, where it's like, you know what, I don't even care. I'm going to make this happen, but I'm like, how honest do I be? Because when I'm talking on platforms for recovery, it's like they want the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
deep dark secrets and like what happened, what's your story, how did it start, and how did you get out?
Mhm.
To where skincare and the beauty industry is very different. So I'm like, do I come into this being completely transparent? How much do
Right.
I share? And I had to remind myself just to be authentic. This is why I started it, and this is what makes brands so beautiful is people connect with the brand because of that. And so I wanted to be able to use this platform, something that a passion project that I truly enjoy, to be able to reach more people. Okay, how can I do that? How can I help more people through skincare? Well, there's a mission behind it.
Mhm.
And percent of proceeds is going to help people that are struggling with substance abuse and mental health. And so it's unique and it's different, but it's for me, it's me. Anyone who personally knows me, it makes sense. It's like, oh, that totally makes sense. Shuri would start a skincare line that correlates with helping people through treatment. So, that's I had to go into it with that and stick with it because I feel like sometimes people try to change different avenues and who they are to try to fit in. Well, this isn't
Right.
working. Well, maybe I need to shift to this. And as much as I'm taking all the constructive criticism in and suggestions, I'm also staying true to myself
Yeah.
and to my values and what I see for my mission
Mhm.
and staying along that path. Because if I start going this way and that way, because this is what people are suggesting, I'm going to find myself wondering, wait a minute, what was the purpose of this
Right. Who am
again?
I even?
Right. So if
Yeah.
I stay on track and stick with my mission, I know that it's going to succeed and go where I anticipate it going.
Yeah, I really love that because it is like skincare is such a polished industry and it feels like you have to be so careful and like any beauty industry really. And so it takes a little bit of bravery to like just be like, I'm just gonna be who I am. But it seems to be working really well for you and for the brand. So I'm glad that that's been good.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, what we know is this is an area that naturally people don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
You don't talk about your internal issues with the outside world often. That's not a comfort zone for people, and that's completely understandable. For me, I talk about it so much because I work heavily in this, industry,
Mhm.
but for the majority, they don't. You don't go to work and be like, "Oh my gosh, my husband or my wife is in treatment for alcohol," and it's just not something you talk about. So, what I have seen that has been so beautiful is to enter the beauty industry and talk about my story. And
Mhm.
Courtney, the amount of people that have come up to me and they're like, I'm 5 years in recovery,
Yeah.
or I lost, one of my parents to alcoholism or addiction, and feeling that instant comfort and connection has been so beautiful to see because that is my entire purpose. I want to be that safe haven for people to feel comfortable with talking about it because I know how big of a toll that takes on the family and the loved ones that are dealing with it. And to be able to enter a totally new world where it's not talked about
Yeah.
and open that door in safety for people to feel comfortable sharing is to me so beautiful.
That is really beautiful. And it's also like you get to see like, hey, like this is what's on the other side, you know?
Mhm.
Like the recovery journey is it's not just like breaking even. It's like you can like really excel and like look at this amazing
Right.
thing that you can do and you can still share your story and you kind of like strip away a lot of shame, I think maybe is probably associated with this. So that's really
Absolutely.
cool to see.
Absolutely. Yes.
So as you're launching skincare, I'm sure there were like a ton of hurdles that you were not expecting. What would you say are kind of the major hurdles that you had to get past to kind of get the launch done?
Timelines.
Yeah.
And, you know, production for boxes takes this amount of time.
Yeah.
To get the boxes from this place to this place takes this amount of time. To fill them, package them, and ship them takes this amount of time. So we're still navigating that.
Back to the
And,
patience aspect.
ooh, yeah, how long it takes is just mind blowing
Yeah.
to me. And so just narrowing that system down
Mhm.
is been something where I'm like, okay, this is a goal of mine. Plus, it's such a social media, platform. And I come from a world that it's not social media. We're more so, working with doctors and therapists and collaborating in that sense of like, hey, this is what we offer. If you have somebody in need or somebody comes into the ER, give us a call. Very different type of
Right.
networking. And so coming into the beauty industry and not having that experience in my career of the past decade has been very new to learn and navigate. For me to get on camera and start the hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm Cheree, and let me tell you about my story is so uncomfortable to
Yeah.
me. And I'm trying to work through that. And I completely understand that that's what the world that we live in. And everyone's like, you have to talk about it. You have to,
Yeah.
let people get to know you. So it's new. And I'm still trying to get comfortable with that component of it. So those I would say are the two biggest hurdles
Yeah.
of trying to figure out, social media platforms,
Right.
working whether it's with influencers or attending events, and then just the time frame of
Right.
getting everything navigated to be all in one place, ready to deliver to our customers in a timely manner.
Yeah, because I know you also work with manufacturers in Korea because of they
Mhm.
have such incredible skincare in Korea.
Yes.
Was that process challenging? Like, what was that like to make sure that like those products that they're creating like really do live up to your standards?
Well, and that's the thing is there's a lot of times I mean I started the company in 2023 and we just launched January of this year. So 2 years in the making of mixing formulas, having them shipped to me, having me try them for a few weeks to say I love this, I don't love this. Okay, go back and change it, add this, take this out. Like the vitamin C, for example, originally it was 10%. That was instantly too harsh for me. It made my skin irritated. So we dropped it down to 3%, something that wasn't as harsh but effective. So things like that, color, texture, scent, all of those things was a lot of back and forth. There were so many meetings. Even now, I mean, I'm used to it now,
Yeah.
but meetings at midnight,
Yeah.
going to bed and setting my alarm because I have to do a call in Korea because of the time difference and make it work for their schedule. So getting used to that communication and, my boxes are done in Dubai and they're 12-hour difference. So I'm on the phone at 5:30 a.m. with them because it's 5:30 p.m. and I'm starting my day and they're ending their day. So it's definitely a challenge, but it makes it fun.
Mhm.
Those are things where it's like, this is cool,
Yeah. Yeah,
You
and
just
you
go
know
with
that
the
like
flow.
you're getting the best product possible, like 'cause
Totally.
you could say, okay, like I'm gonna do something that's a little bit easier, better time zones or whatever, but the product won't be, to your standards. So you
Exactly.
do have
And
to make
that's
some
really what
sacrifices for that.
That's what it comes down to. And I will share that, I can't announce exactly what, but we have some new things coming. And that's exactly it. It really is just the standards, whether it's made in Korea or it's made in US. Like it really comes down to what do I love?
Mhm.
What can resonate with other people? What if I love it and it's good for my sensitive skin, I know other people are going to love it as well. And we've yet had anyone have any um negative feedback. Honestly,
Okay.
everybody has loved the products and it's like the best thing to hear and it's so rewarding to say, okay, it was worth it. It was worth making those
Yeah.
changes, being patient and waiting because can you imagine just, not and then everyone's like,
Yeah.
I don't like it. It made me break out. I mean, we've done all the testing and it truly is geared towards sensitive skin and so I'm so thankful and happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot harder to fix negative feedback or like a reputation problem than it is just to like spend an extra couple months getting it right before you launch, even though it
Mhm.
can be like really painful because you just want to get it out there.
Yeah, and it's word of mouth. I
Yeah.
don't have a personal celebrity backing for myself. And
Right.
so the only thing I have is word of mouth of have you tried Osera? Oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
products are amazing. You need to try it. And so I really I needed to make sure that they truly were perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so you as you started to sell, you've been on Amazon, TikTok Shop, you've done these wellness pop-ups. What has kind of worked the best for building that early traction for you?
Combination of both. Amazon's doing pretty well. The D2C on the website and social media has also done well for us.
Mhm.
And locally, I mean, we're still very small, but I try to always keep some on hand here in my small town, and I still do personal drops. Like,
Oh, nice.
hey, I'm running out, and I'm just able to okay, today I'm just going to go drop them all off everywhere. And I know there might be a day that I not can't necessarily do that,
Mhm.
but right now I'm trying to be as flexible and convenient for those that are using the product. So, yeah, just doing different avenues, but the D2C and online has been doing pretty well.
Mhm. Awesome. And I also know that you've kind of working towards a give back program where you donate proceeds to support recovery and mental health. So obviously that's super in line with your mission and vision. Is that something that you've kind of always like from the beginning that's always been part of it? And like how important is that mission to like shaping Osair identity?
That has been part of it from day one. So when I started Osaire's, because we used to get the little travel shampoo bottles for our clients at the facilities, and we just kind of slapped the BFR, Bright Future Recovery is the name of the facility
Mhm.
on there, and we would set it out kind of like hotel style. We have a
Yeah.
client come in who doesn't have, their toiletries. We would have that for them, and they start asking questions like, "Oh, did you make this?" And it's like, "No, it's just from Amazon." And that's kind of got the wheels turning like, that would be pretty cool,
Yeah.
to create something. And people would ask, like, oh, is it organic? And it's funny how it's like you go from this and it's like so drastic. Now I
Right.
want everything organic and clean. And, so I definitely, that was part of the mission from
Mhm.
day one. And we're still new, we're year one. And so it's going to take time for that give back program to grow to where we're able, like my hopes and dreams is that we are able to fully scholarship at least one person through treatment
Yeah.
each quarter into a full residential program that they don't have insurance that will cover or any financial support and they are able to get the quality of care through treatment that they deserve and they need.
Mhm.
So that is the ultimate goal and I can't wait till we get to that point and we will have something on our website where people can fill out an application
Yeah.
and then we can be able to pick and assess and see which program. I work with programs all across the country from here to New York, and so there's no cookie cutter program and there's no one program fits all. So being able to thoroughly assess what that individual needs and be able to work with our sister programs and say, okay, this is a great fit for you and Osera is going to fully scholarship you to participate in this program for 30 days. That is a dream, and I cannot wait until that is just rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I think that that's kind of like a full circle moment for you when that happens, and a very worthy goal. And I see that happening soon. I
Oh,
do.
Fingers crossed and prayers. Thank you.
So kind of when you think about all, these past 11 years from the treatment centers to now, and like, what would you say is kind of the main lessons that you've taken away as far as like leadership goes and working with people? How are you kind of motivating people? How are you thinking about your own leadership?
I love that question. And that's probably honestly one of my favorite areas in the companies is leadership. And for me, my team through the facilities, through Osier, they're family. And it's not just a job. We have a purpose. And if we're all in alignment with that purpose, we work well together. I really don't even care for the word boss or, that's the CEO. We are all each other's bosses. I say it all the time. Like I'll text my team, "What do you need from me today? I have some spare time. Put me to work. What can I do to help you?" And working together in that sense has really molded, honestly, a family. And so we have each other's backs no matter what. It's like, you know what? I got you. I can do this, or I'll step in. I'll do that transport. I'll step in and cook. The chef isn't here today. Those types of things. And when you form your companies that way and your leadership, you set that example. You
Yeah.
you inspire your own team.
Hmm.
I'm inspired by my team, and it's a full circle to make a company run smoothly from if I don't do my job, their jobs are hard. If they don't do their jobs, my job's hard. So if everybody pulls together and we have each other's back in that sense, it makes a smooth running company.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think just kind of like that mutual accountability is really important.
Yes,
And like saying I need you to tell me when something's wrong, I'm going to tell you when something's wrong. Like I need that mutual respect and that mutual accountability.
absolutely.
So that's really cool. How big is your team right now across like all your businesses?
We have over 50 employees.
Nice. That's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard to scale like this type of business with like team wise. So that's very cool to
yeah,
hear.
yeah. I love my team. We work very, very well together. So I'm so thankful.
Amazing. And so you've talked a little bit about this where balancing can be really challenging given, these late night calls or early morning calls, these different businesses. You've got three kids, you've got dog, you've got family. So how are you kind of like approaching that balance? How are you approaching that management just to make sure you don't like burn out on anything?
Totally. Time management and boundaries
Yeah.
is everything to me. And, for me, some people say, "Oh my gosh, you're crazy. You go to the gym at 5 in the morning." But I'm like, but what's crazy about it? I'm getting 7.5 hours of sleep.
Right.
I'm personally a morning person.
Hmm.
I love to set my day that way. So I wake up early, go to the gym before the world is awake and my phone's going off,
Hmm.
and come home. I'm energized, I'm calm. I get my kids up, get them ready for school, send them off, and I'm busy from the minute they go to school at 8 a.m. is my first meeting until 3 o'clock p.m. And I cram my whole workload into that
Yeah.
time frame with occasional travel, maybe
Right.
1 to 2 times a month. And so when they get home from school, it's regular family routine. It's
Hmm.
homework, it's dinner cleanup, it's sit and relax. And I go to bed early and I read for 30 to 45 minutes. I'm asleep by 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then I'm up doing it again. And I read something recently and it really resonated with me because so many people are like, "How do you do it? You're so busy. How do you juggle it?" Because I know it sounds crazy, but I feel my life's overall pretty calm.
Yeah.
We all have chaotic moments,
Right.
no matter what. And it was that somebody was telling someone in this book that, "I don't know how you do it. You're so busy." And the response was, "I have good habits. There's good habits and there's bad habits.
Mhm.
And when you have bad habits and good habits, both, naturally the bad habits are going to interfere with your good habits.
Right.
But if you eliminate every single bad habit that you have in your life,
Hmm.
where all you have is good habits, you would be surprised how much time in a day you can
Yeah.
truly get things done. I mean, I am busy all day long, every second, but I give myself that relaxed time in the evening that I feel energized for the next day.
Yeah.
And I don't have any bad habits interfering with my good habits. Therefore, I'm able to handle it all.
Yeah.
And that really resonated because I'm like, you know what? That's so true. And the people that are questioning this, if I really look at their life, there's probably some bad habits in there that they can probably eliminate and they would be right there with me.
Right, right. I mean, I think it's like also like the ideas of like discipline. And people are so
Yes.
scared of discipline because it sounds bad. But I think there's this like Ryan Holiday book about discipline where like it's the the thing about discipline is that like gives you freedom. You can't have freedom
Totally.
without discipline. And so
Right.
you've given yourself freedom with your family by working very intently and in a very disciplined way from 8 to 3. Like you
Mhm.
don't stop. You're not like scrolling on your phone. You're focused. You're communicating with your team. You're doing things correctly. And because you do that, you do have rest time. And that discipline is something we shouldn't be so scared of because it makes a huge
Right.
difference.
It does. And that structure is healthy.
It
You
is.
know, it is it's good to have that. Just like, for my clients, and one thing I learned in my early recovery um was the simplest thing, and it was set your goals small and then grow them.
Yeah.
Do not set your goals so high that it is unrealistic and you're not going to meet those goals and disappoint yourself. So you set them small. And for me, as crazy as it sounds, it was as simple as making my bed.
Yeah.
In my bad habits and in my addiction, that was something I never did.
Hmm.
And I walked back into my room messy.
Yeah.
And mentally, what that does to you, a messy room versus a clean room. And if
Hmm.
you wake up and you just make your bed, no matter what type of day you have, when you walk back into your room and your bed is made, you instantly feel that. You
Yeah.
feel like, what a day, but
Right.
your bed is made.
Hmm.
And those little goals, and you turn those into routines and
Hmm.
habits, healthy habits, you start growing them, you can achieve those bigger goals by accomplishing the small ones. And at the end of the day, you can always celebrate those little wins.
Yeah.
And then those big wins are great, but at least you accomplished something for the day.
Right. You've got something going on. And like, honestly, like, I love the habits and just being like, you might have good habits, but if you still have bad habits, like, they're always at risk. Like that's the first thing that's going to go. So, really focusing more on how do you get rid of these bad habits or like shift
Right.
them, which takes a lot of
Yes.
discipline. It takes time and like
It does,
focus to
of
do.
course.
Yeah.
Nothing happens overnight. It all takes work and it all takes effort and it all takes consistency,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, okay, so looking ahead, what is your vision for Osier over the next 3 to 5 years?
We have lots of amazing things to come, and a lot is already in the works. And so, the long term goal for Osera is to have multiple products in multiple retail stores at storefronts. And so, we are working really hard to make that happen. But yeah, just setting those 3, 5, 10 year
Hmm.
goals and setting the daily smaller ones to get there is definitely something me and the team have been working on.
Amazing, one step at a time.
Yes.
If you could go back to the first day, starting, I would say even starting your treatment recovery center or starting Osier, what advice would you give yourself now that you've kind of lived through it?
I would say embrace the challenges and breathe. I used to get extremely overwhelmed in the beginning starting my programs. Failure was just something that was in my head constantly. And it's hard sometimes not to do that now, where I can overwork myself, where I have to really just remind myself to just breathe. And I've done so much better at that now. But yeah, that's a big one for me.
Yeah, and that's so powerful. I think like you started so young, that you just like you don't even realize you don't have any kind of perspective over how like big the world is and that like how much more room you have to figure stuff out and just like stopping and breathing. This is very good advice.
Yeah, and sometimes no is okay. You're not
Yeah.
always going to get a yes, and it just may not be the right time just
Yeah.
because your goal is this and you approach that and it's not the right time and they say no. I've also learned over the years that it comes back around and then it makes sense like, aha, it didn't happen then and it's happening now. And it makes sense this way because it wouldn't have succeeded if it happened when I originally wanted it to.
Right.
And so trusting that and really just giving it to God, there's a lot of things that are out of our control. And I also learned that very early on is if it's out of your control, you just have to let go and let God. And so that is a daily reminder for myself
Yeah.
constantly.
Amazing. Well, to wrap up, where can people find you online?
So they can visit us on our website, www.osier.com. We're on social media. You can follow me personally, Cheree Ashley, or Osier Wellness.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show, Sheree. It's been really great.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome. And thank you to everyone at home or on the go for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, share with a friend, or leave us a review if there's anything you'd like to hear on an upcoming episode. And for more insights, follow us on LinkedIn or visit rightleftagency.com. And we'll be back next time with more stories of success, innovation, marketing strategies to help you grow. See you on the next one.